everyone, and welcome back to the channel. As you'll see, it's a slightly different video to usual in that I'm not outside. I'm actually here at Sventi Triathlon on one of their amazing bikes, and I'm going to be doing something that I've been putting off for a while, combining two videos that have been on the back burner. The first is a how-to guide for Mallorca, everything you need to know about booking a trip over here. And the second is a ramp test. Now, I thought about combining the both of these. Why, you may ask? Well, I started making a video about everything you need to know about Mallorca, and it got really long, really unwieldy, and really boring. So I thought I'd try and give myself a time limit and tell you everything you need to know before I get too out of breath. So hopefully this isn't too painful to watch or too painful to do, but wish me luck. So the first question is whether you should rent the bike when you come here or fly your own over. Now, personally, I've always preferred to rent one out here. I think it's a better way to travel. You don't need to lug a big bike box around, and you can support a local business like this one here. The other thing, traveling with your bike, it's a pain in the arse. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but bike boxes are huge. They're unwieldy. They sometimes get lost in transit, and your bike can also get damaged. So I would say find a local shop and rent one from there. There are so many incredible bike shops in Mallorca, and they can cater to all kinds of needs, whether it's a super high-end bike like this one here, or an e-bike or something more casual. Generally, the cost will kind of even out at around 5 days. Obviously, it depends on the spec of the bike that you're bringing, stuff like that, whether you own your own bike box. But generally, I would say under a week, I would rent one. And then as you go over that time period, maybe consider bringing your own bike. The other thing, the reason people might want to bring their own bike is because it's theirs, right? They're used to the fit. Well, all the bike shops here, when you rent a bike, will take your A, B, and C measurements, so they can get these set up to exactly the specification that you need. You can even bring your own saddles, your own pedals, stuff like that. So, when do you come to Mallorca? Well, generally, the weather's going to be amazing all year round. It's currently, I think, the 9th and 10th of January today, and it's beautiful outside, although a bit windy. If you come in the winter, the roads are going to be really, really quiet, but the hotels and stuff like that probably won't be open, so it'll be a slightly different trip. What I would say, if you're coming in the winter, is make sure you bring arm warmers, a gilet, and pack for colder weather, because when you're at the top of the mountain and on a descent, it can get pretty chilly. The peak months are going to be spring and autumn. At that time, it's going to be really, really busy on the roads, loads of cyclists out, because it's basically cycling paradise here. It's amazing. So if you're coming at that time, make sure to rent your bike plenty of time in advance, because they do sell out during these periods. And then finally, the summer months. The summer months, they're too hot, to be honest. It can easily get into the high 30s or even the 40s during these months. So if you do come at that time, you're going to want to be riding at the start of the day or late at night. But yeah, it'll still be good. If you're here with family and you want to sneak out for a ride, you'll be able to find a shop that's open and get away if you have to. So when you come, where are you going to stay? Well, the main attraction to cycling in Mallorca is obviously the Tramontana mountain range, which runs up the west coast of the island. I'm based in Portapienza, and Alcudia is down the road, and these are some of the most popular places to stay. You've got great access to the beach. There's lots of infrastructure here, so hotels, restaurants, stuff like that, as well as so many bike shops. It's crazy. You can also quickly get out to the lighthouse ride, dip into the mountains. Just a beautiful place to stay. At the other end of the mountain range, you've got Palma and Andratx. They've got similar, infrastructure, bike shops, stuff like that, but maybe a little bit less. Obviously, you're in Palma, you've got all the culture and stuff that comes along with it, and it's going to be really easy to get to from the airport. The problem with both of these places is that they're at the extreme of the mountains, so you can be somewhat limited unless you're having a really big day out about where you can ride. So the obvious solution is to go slap bang in the middle. So places like Alaro or Soya, for example, they're going to be able to allow you to go north or south or inland to some of the flatter routes if you fancy a rest day. The only problem with these though is, particularly in the case of Alaro, there are less hotels, so it'll probably be an Airbnb job. Whew. Starting to get harder to breathe now. So, any other bits and bobs? Is New Yorker only for advanced riders? I would say no. Obviously, you are dealing with mountains, and I think if you're coming with friends on a cycling trip, maybe have a think about whether an e-bike could be right for you, because there's nothing worse than being left behind on every hill. The other thing is, particularly if you're coming from the UK, it's very different riding here. You've got big, long descents, winding roads, hairpins, which, even if you're an experienced rider in the UK, you might get caught out. So be careful on those hairpins, particularly if it's been raining, because the roads can get really wet. The other thing to say on the descents is there are goats everywhere. There can be buses around every corner. So really approach every turn like there is something behind it. Stay on those brakes, and most importantly, stay safe. So, getting around the island, if you are based in the north, it might be a case of getting a transfer, especially if you've got your own bike with you, because you're going to struggle to get one of those on public transport. And there's not a huge amount of it either. There's one train, pretty much, that goes up as far as Pobla. So you're still not going to be all the way to Alcudia if that's where you're staying. But if you are just after a little tourist jaunt, there are loads of red and yellow buses. They're very good value and they're very well connected. So I think that's pretty much everything that you should need to know. If you do have any other questions, please leave them to me in the comments and I'll reply. And you never know, if this is too brief, I will do a longer video in the future. So I'm now on my 300 watt minute. I think maybe I might have another 10 minutes or so on here. We'll see. But thanks for watching and wish me luck with this test.